The FTC is reportedly looking into OpenAI over reputational harm, potential reputational harm that could have been caused by ChatGPT. Came across a really interesting article the other day on TechCrunch. That's something that we definitely want to look at. It says FTC reportedly looking into OpenAI over reputational harm caused by ChatGPT. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. The FTC is reportedly in at least the exploratory phase of investigating OpenAI over whether the company's flagship ChatGPT conversational AI made false, misleading, disparaging, or harmful statements about people. Statements about people. It seems unlikely this will lead to a sudden crackdown, but it shows that the FTC is doing more than warning the AI industry of potential violations. And essentially what I think is happening here is what we've been talking about, which is you're going to start seeing churning and storms or storm clouds forming in ahead of OpenAI's future and the issues they're having around the hallucinational aspect of their AI model and the issues that have been popping up recently, especially as more and more market adoption is taking place. And so if you're going to have all of these organizations taking advantage of it, and you're also going to have more and more people using it, the AI hallucinational aspect needs to be addressed. And this is something that's been rearing its ugly head many times for OpenAI, but it says the Washington Post first reported the news, citing access to a 20-page letter to OpenAI asking for information on complaints about disparagement. The FTC declined to comment, noting that its investigations are non-public. In February, the regulator announced a new Office of Technology to take on tech sector snake oil, and shortly after that warned companies making claims around AI that they are subject to the same truth requirements as anyone else. Keep your AI claims in check, they wrote, or the FTC will. Now, this is a separate issue that the article is talking about. This is not related to the reputational harm caused by AI hallucinations. What this is talking about is something that we were discussing in a previous video where we have a lot of tech companies that are now adopting the term AI into all of their products in order to get more market share, whether it's with customers or even presenting it to investors. And they've been telling investors that they're using AI when they're not. They're using algorithms, which is something completely different. Even OpenAI's ChatGPT in and of itself is not actual AI. And we've talked about that a lot. It's being touted as AI, but it's something completely different. There are real AI experts that have come out and said that ChatGPT is not AI, but it's something completely different. And it has AI aspects to it, but there's a whole redefining of what actual AI is. And when I'm saying AI, I'm meaning the AI, the artificial intelligence that you're seeing in movies and stuff like that. This is something completely opposite of what it was. I remember 5-10 years ago, Facebook talking about its AI when really it was discussing algorithms. And so what the FTC is warning here about tech sector snake oil is all of these tech companies that are popping up that are touting AI software, and it's not actual AI, it's algorithms. I'm still looking into and at least researching. It's something that I'm doing just as a hobby. It doesn't really matter to me, but I came across a tech company that was touting all of its AI, and it slapped AI onto everything. We have AI this, AI that, AI this, AI that. And when you start reading into it, you realize there is no discussions within its white papers about what its artificial intelligence actually is and what artificial intelligence they're using for their products. And what you come to find out is that they're just slapping AI on there to get your attention. And that's what the FTC is specifically addressing in this paragraph. But what the overarching article is discussing is more or less the reputational damage that AI hallucinations are potentially causing. And I just want to point out here that, first of all, the article does state that this is not the first time that OpenAI's product ChatGPT has come up and has been the subject of lawsuits and very many different things. But this kind of investigation doesn't just appear out of thin air. It says here the FTC doesn't look around and say this looks suspicious. Generally, a lawsuit or formal complaint is brought to their attention, and the practices described by it imply that regulations are being ignored. For example, a person may sue a supplement company because the pills made them sick, and the FTC will launch an investigation on the back of that because there's evidence that the company lied about the side effects. In this case, there's a high probability that a lawsuit like this one, in which an Australian mayor complained to OpenAI that ChatGPT said he had been accused of bribery and sentenced to prison, among other things, could prompt an investigation. That matter is ongoing, and of course the jurisdiction is wrong, but there are almost certainly more like it. So if you're having a lawyer reach out, or is it a lawyer, or it's a mayor, sorry, mayor complained and to OpenAI, and is potentially now it's going into litigation. It's a lawsuit that's happening in Australia. More than likely, almost certainly, there's people over here in the United States that are facing the same issues, and this is what we're seeing. The AI hallucinational aspect could be a massive damage to ChatGPT and their ability to face mass market adoption. And as far as businesses go and articles go, there's going to be hesitancy there to completely adopt and utilize that tech. And really have to trust in the human aspect to research that information. As people start writing and all this stuff and articles are coming out and people are using this, writers especially, news, journalists, all these things, are you really going to be able to trust the journalists to have the integrity to do the research? We've already seen a lawyer that just basically submitted stuff in a court case that was completely fabricated. And that is going to be a massive, massive ding to ChatGPT and moving forward and its ability to be utilized in mass market adoption across all various different businesses, especially folks that don't fully understand the stuff, such as myself. I don't fully understand how it operates, and there's really no aspect in my work that it would, increase if I was like a programmer or something like that. It would be mostly this kind of research stuff. And if I can't trust it to do that, and I got to go in and like do all the back work and check everything, then it really doesn't become that much more useful. It'll become a tool in my belt that I'll utilize, but I won't really lean fully on to the degree that it's being propagated through news media and all these different things about, the dangers of it taking your job. So you look back now and you look at like IBM announcing that they're laying off people in mass due to AI being able to take over some of that work. And really what begins to question now is, well, if this is the case, IBM is filled with very intelligent people that fully understand these kinds of things. And if the case is that they're laying people off in that mass along with other tech companies, okay, and they're claiming it's because of AI being able to take the job. Stuff like this shows you that AI is not in that place yet to be fully trusted. There will always be human aspects. It's more of a tool and not a replacement for humans. Then really you ask yourself, well, then what are those layoffs really about? I don't think they're really about the fact that you're using AI. I think it has mostly to do with most CEOs and most companies gearing up for what's coming ahead and in preparation, or at least the fear of a coming market tanking or a market crash or recession, as a lot of people are saying, and gearing up for that. So we have to be very aware and keep in mind that all these things are aspects playing into this game, and they're propagating it and using this AI claim to try and hide the fact that from their investors and from their numbers and their market share, that this has everything to do with AI, and it's not really that's not really the case. And so you have these lawsuits taking place. And it says here, it's hardly a slam dunk. The technical aspects alone call into question whether this counts as publishing or speech or even anything but a private communication. These would all have to be proven. And so that hallucination aspect, which we did do an article talking about it and how they basically acknowledge that that there is no fix for it right now, they're trying to figure out a fix, is a big deal. But it's a big deal in both ways. What are we seeing here? So if you have this issue where this thing is hallucinating and just putting out information specifically to your children and how this works, it could be it's something that you really want to make sure we educate the next generation that to not take this stuff in mass. In the same way that we educate the next generation that Googling something doesn't provide to you the final answer, because Google is just pulling together information off the internet, and a lot of times it's pulling information that a human programmer, that someone behind it agrees is truth, but it doesn't make it true, and you have to continue to do research. And so if there is a hallucination aspect to this that we're not going to address from a business perspective, they may not fully adopt it, which is fine. But from a mass market perspective, like users of TikTok type of stuff, that's something that we're going to want to take note to, and not use this thing and trust in it and lean in it as much as we can. Ongoing all around the country, there's still issues going on from professors and various different school levels wrestling with the idea of utilizing this tech and how it should be utilized and the dangers of it. So it's a very interesting situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think this is something that we should continue to look into and pull over? Do you think this is something that could seriously damage OpenAI's growth in the market, or at least ChatGPT's utilization and how they're going to use it? Do you think that it's all over exaggerated and that this is not going to be as damaging or harmful to people's jobs as we think? Now all this stuff is starting to come up, and are there more lawsuits to come? All that stuff is very, very interesting, and it's something that we should continue to keep an eye on. If the FTC is in those cases of just investigating and looking into, these are all storm clouds forming ahead of how this stuff is going to play out and how we're going to deal with it, and really how much of a changing there is going to be to the business market overall. Tech market, I think, is still going to face these things. I do think a lot of the claims from these major companies where they're saying, oh, we're laying off people because AI is taking it over, is just being used to blanket and shield from what the real fact is, which is that they're preparing for recession just like every other tech company, and they're over bloated, and they're trying to make sure they can make moves without losing their market share and losing their stock prices and all that other crap. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.